Felicia.
And I'm Giancarlo.
And this is our preview of
Either Wars.
In Either Wars, players are fighting in a traditional tournament called Either Wars to win the power of the ether. To set up, place the board in the center of the table and the resources on their given spot. Shuffle the 2 deck of cards and place them next to the board. Each player will now receive a player board on his or her corresponding dice and special ability cards. Each player starts with 5 unit dice and their hero die on their board. The other dice are set aside. Each player also starts with 20 protein tokens and 1 charge counter used for special abilities. For the cards, each player gets 3 favor cards from the deck. Finally, place the ether dice on the ether of the board. To win the game, a player must gain enough ether depending on the number of players playing. 7 in a 2-player game, 6 in a 3-player game, and 5 in a 4-player game. Once set up, you're ready to start the tournament.
The tournament lasts days and each day represents 7 phases. The first phase is the New Day phase, which simply means to reveal an event card which will affect the day. Once revealed, each player will choose one of their skill cards and place it next to their player board. This is the skill they have for this day. Phase 2 is Reinforcement. During this phase, the player receives reinforcements to continue fighting for either. Each player receives 1 unit and 2 proteins. The third phase is hiring mercenaries. Having received reinforcements, a player may hire the services of a mercenary if he has the necessary resource for it. Each mercenary possesses special abilities, which will be of interest to each player depending on their strategy. The player who hires the mercenary will pay the cost and then place the game piece and dice on their base next to their units. The player will be able to play the mercenary on the game board during the placement phase, which is the next phase.
During the placement phase, the players take turns to place their troops on the game board. Placement is based according to rules. During a placement action, any number of troops may be placed but only to one zone. Once the first player has carried out the first placement, the second player may place and so on until all the players have deployed their troops. During a placement action, at least 1 dice must be placed. The process is repeated until all players have moved all their dice from their home base. Only 1 placement may happen per zone. If the player has already placed in a specific zone during this phase, they may not place more troops in that same zone.
The fifth phase is Movement. Each player will take turns moving their units by paying cultants depending on the unit type. It costs 1 cultant to move 1 troop. It costs 2 to move a mercenary, and it costs 3 to move your hero. You can move to anywhere on the board, it does not have to be adjacent. Once all players have moved their units, the resolution phase happens. During this phase, each player will resolve their location and bring units back to the base. If they choose to extract units, they roll the dice, and whatever they roll, they can spend in getting the resources there, depending on the cost of the resource. If there are units from different races in one location, they will battle. Simply roll the dice there and calculate the difference between the races. For each 2, each army will lose a unit unless they spend plasma, which will shield them and bring them home. If not, they die and are removed from play.
Now that we looked at the battle and extraction, let's talk about the other actions you can do during this phase. You can purchase cards or resources if you're at a market. If you're at the cloning factory, you can clone units for 4 proteins each and add them to your base. If you control the ether, you can channel ether to your base. You can also spend 2 crystals to gain another ether. Finally, once all players have done their actions for the resolution phase, each player now feeds their units using protein. If you can't feed some, they die and plasma can't be used here to save them. When the feeding of troops is done, the day ends and a new one starts with a new first player. When a player has enough ether to become the tournament winner, they win the game and become the dominant race. If you like sci-fi, worker placement, resource management, and area control games, this one has all of that. You should really check it out. It also has great storyline and background story for the races and mercenaries. We hope you enjoyed watching this preview of Either Wars, and remember, if you like it, back it.
What? Are you tired? Like you're holding the box like down. Like,
Either wars. Either this war or that war.
We always have one of those wars. That's pretty cool graphics. Remember that box?
Yep.
That's pretty cool. Looks pretty cool.
Everything looks good.
Yeah.
Oh, this too looks good. Is it actually like neon like this?
You like neon
I
colors.
love neon colors.
You're like an 80s baby.
Oh yeah, everything's like pretty.
And of course, this is a prototype. We must mention that.
Well, keep the colors and stuff. Yeah, it's cool. What are these like?
So they're called. Oh, that's the DNA strands.
Chromosomes. That's the word.
I'm not sure. Maybe.
Yeah, the chromosomes
Maybe.
attached together. It's a helix.
Yes, that. Yes. DNA helix.
And these are, I guess, rocks from Mars. They look more like.
I'm so glad you said that because you started to look smarter than me, and I didn't like that. So by you saying rocks from Mars in this game, you redeemed yourself.
Oh, nerds.
Nerds. That's right. Nerds. Remember nerds?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that's what I was
candies, not
thinking.
the
Like
people?
the pop. No, there's the soap
No.
ones. No,
The soap gum.
it's the box of rocks, the gold.
What the
No,
hell
I
are
know
you
the
guys
bag of
talking
gold.
about?
It was gum and it lost its
Yeah.
flavor like three seconds in.
Not even.
like-
1.1
like-
seconds. Over. Take
Like,
one,
oh,
two.
it tastes nothing.
That's all. Cool. I like this. Keep up the good work, people of the board game. It's so creative.